Imagine that you are 13 years old. You have no phone, no school in the modern sense, and no carefree weekends. Instead, you wake up at sunrise, and within minutes, you are carrying water, helping in your father's workshop, or taking animals out to pasture. That is how an ordinary morning began for millions of teenagers several thousand years ago. But was their life really nothing but hard work? Recent archaeological discoveries paint a very different picture. Scientists are increasingly finding evidence that ancient teenagers not only worked, but also studied, played, competed, traveled, and even left behind written records that have survived to this day. One of the most surprising discoveries has been the fingerprints and handprints of children and teenagers preserved on bricks, pottery, and clay vessels. They remained there by accident when young apprentices helped experienced craftsmen. Using modern measuring techniques, researchers have been able to estimate the ages of some of these young workers. It turns out that many artisans began learning their trade as early as the ages of 11 to 14. Their training rarely resembled a modern classroom. A teenager simply observed an experienced master, copied every movement, and gradually received more difficult tasks. Mistakes were considered part of the learning process, which is why archaeologists sometimes find flawed objects alongside perfectly crafted ones. Interestingly, not everyone dreamed of following in their parents' footsteps. In ancient Egypt, there were schools for scribes. Admission required talent and tremendous patience. Students copied texts hundreds of times, while teachers often left strict comments in the margins. Some historians even call these notes the world's oldest graded school assignments. What happened after lessons? This is where the story becomes even more surprising. Archaeologists have discovered dozens of board games, leather balls, dice, and even toy animals. All of this suggests that teenagers did have free time, although much less than young people today. In ancient Greece, teenagers competed in running, wrestling, and javelin throwing. For many, athletic success was a chance to bring honor to their families. In some cities, champions were nearly as well known as modern sports stars. Life in Sparta was very different. Teenagers were taught to endure cold, hunger, and long marches. However, contrary to popular myth, they did much more than physical training. They also learned teamwork, quick decision-making, and responsibility for their companions. Scientists have made equally fascinating discoveries by studying ancient cemeteries. Analysis of bones shows that teenagers grew rapidly, frequently suffered injuries, and recovered surprisingly well. Some skeletons reveal completely healed fractures of the arms and legs. This suggests that even thousands of years ago, people knew how to treat serious injuries. Another unexpected detail concerns diet. Through chemical analysis of tooth enamel, researchers discovered that teenagers often ate differently from adults. In some regions, they were given more dairy products or fish to support healthy growth. Sometimes teenagers set off on long journeys. Together with trading caravans, they crossed deserts, traveled along rivers, and learned foreign languages. These expeditions became a real school of life and introduced them to different cultures. Interestingly, ancient parents worried about almost exactly the same things as modern ones. Letters that have survived contain requests to study harder, avoid laziness, respect elders, and take future careers more seriously. These texts sound so modern that it is hard to believe they were written thousands of years ago. As archaeology continues to develop, our understanding of ancient teenagers keeps changing. New technologies allow researchers to analyze DNA, perform CT scans of mummies, and create three-dimensional models of ancient settlements. Thanks to these advances, history becomes more vivid, and its people no longer seem like faceless figures from textbooks. Perhaps the most fascinating discovery is not a new artifact, but how similar the teenagers of the past were to us. They also wanted to learn, prove themselves, earn the respect of adults, make friends, and dream about the future. The only difference is that instead of smartphones, they had clay tablets. Instead of buses, they traveled with caravans. And instead of sports halls, they trained in the dusty squares of ancient cities.